because these high-value men will much prefer the company of cooperative, submissive women.
Hey, I'm not tagging this guy because I don't believe he has anything of merit to say, and he certainly doesn't need any oxygen that I might give him to espouse his ridiculous views. And other creators on TikTok and other platforms have shredded him already. I have no real interest in doing that. But I do have an interest in addressing the fundamental point that him and so many people like him on various social media platforms make about what they call high-value men. And I know that they are bringing a very male gaze to this thing. So when they're talking about women's attraction to high-value men, they actually have a warped idea of what high value means, and certainly a mistaken idea of high value with respect to what most women see using the women's gaze. And the big difference here is that what he undoubtedly considers a high value man is, a relatively wealthy person with the right possessions, the right physical appearance, and these sort of material attributes that make him a good job, a nice car, somewhere to live, all of these things that he, the creator, equates with high value. It's a very male attitude to what constitutes high value. But in my experience, that is not what women regard as high value. Now, I don't mean they don't find it attractive. Of course, a successful, strong man, good-looking guy is attractive. Of course he is. But in the long term, in terms of a sustainable, nourishing, beautiful relationship, those are not the things. Those are what initially attracts. What creates compatibility and desire for long-term relationship is a different form of high value. And that value is attached to how that man makes a woman feel. First and foremost, does he make her feel safe in the relationship? Does she feel able to be herself? And so what he goes on to criticize in this video is, or say rather, that what high value men want is submissive, quiet women, is also wrong, because there's a different kind of high value man. And the high value man from the women's gaze loves to be challenged by his woman. Because he knows that's where his growth comes from, and how relationships become better through challenge and response, both ways. So that the man who has the initial attributes that attract the woman, then to make himself a genuine high value man, wants to be not just safe, but also be a partner in the growth of the relationship. And this covers stuff as basic as a proper 50% sharing of the management of the joint household, so that he knows that simply the provision of a paycheck is nowhere near enough, that they have to bring the joint management of their joint enterprise together. In other words, where the man and the woman in this heterosexual relationship play against life from the same side of the net, not against each other. That's part of safety. But it's also part of what a man values, a genuine good man, a high value man, under how I'm describing it, values women, is that she promotes and creates a safe place for his growth as well as him creating it for her. In other words, there's a joint enterprise. So it's the fundamental start of his premise of his point that is wrong. Those guys that he thinks are high value are not high value unless they take that extra step of being high value to women, as opposed to being regarded as high value by other men. Because a real high value man doesn't give a fuck what other men think of him as high value, low value in respect to women. All he cares about is, how does the woman in his life regard him? How does he turn up for her? And how does he create space in safety for her to turn up in her fullness, in her true expression of herself? And that can often mean challenging, loud, just being herself in a way that thrills him, that challenges him, that creates opportunities for growth. Because I tell you, as a high value man, and I do regard myself as a high value man, the last thing on earth I want is a submissive woman. Why? Why do I want that? What does that bring to me? And he may say, well, it gives you peace to get on with your mission in life. Ah, fuck that. I don't want peace. I want growth, right? That's part of what makes me high value, is that I am not satisfied with where I am. And I don't mean that from a material job prospects, wealth prospects point of view. I'm not satisfied where I am as a man, as a human. And that's what makes me high value, because it makes me a good partner for a woman who has exactly the same ambitions for her own growth, for her own advancement in life, for her own fulfillment and satisfaction. And yes, each of us can go off and pursue that on our own account, but we all know that that is better pursued, better found in relationship, in growing, nourishing, satisfying, fulfilling relationship where we are both moving forward together and individually. So yeah, bring on those challenging, loud women. I love them, and most men who are genuinely high value love them as well. Peace, everyone. I hope that helped.